Okay, so today we're going to be talking about taking our coins and mount them into flips like this. And this is part of our preservation for our elongated coins. And I'm going to take you through two different machines. The first will be a penny machine and then a quarter machine. So what we've done here is after pressing, we've packaged the coins in Ziploc baggies and noted the shop or location that they came from on paper. Okay, so this way we know how many coins came from what location for our record keeping purposes. Okay, so as you can see, these came from Fantasia gift shop. So we're going to take our flips. These are elongated cardboard flips that have plastic on them, and they fold in half like this, and that's going to hold our penny or quarter, nickel, dime, what have you. Okay, so in this case we have three different coins, and these are pennies. So we're going to go ahead and do all of our paper processing first here. Okay, so these came from Disneyland. So right here DL on it, and these will all be labeled later with fancy labels. And this is from Fantasia gift shop. Just like this. This way I don't have to try to write on them after they're mounted. It's a little bit harder, but it is possible. But for me, I like to do it beforehand. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to straighten out the coins and clean them up just a little bit. I use just a regular old kitchen towel that's clean, and this is the only purpose that it's used for, nothing else. So normally I have cotton gloves, but for today I'm going to just handle them by the edges, because if you have fingerprints on your coins, that will actually, the acid from your fingers will etch into the copper, and you'll permanently have marks on them of your fingerprints or smudges, what have you. So this will work just fine. Now I'm still holding it with my towel here. Bend it over and I lay it down in the window. And for me, I line it up just like this. And I'll explain a little bit about it further once I get this in. Now my staple that I use is a Max staple. You can see that it says Max on it. And it is an actual Max HD-10FL. They're made in Asia, so I believe it's specifically like a Japanese style. And what it does, it puts what's called a flat clinch on it. So I'm going to staple it on four corners, just like this. Later, I'm going to have a label over top that will seal the top, and a label on the bottom that will seal the bottom up. So already it's fairly airtight, but it'll make it more airtight once I'm finished. So as you can see, the back, they're flat, okay? A regular traditional US style stapler will not flatten staples like staple flat like this. Plus they're a smaller size, okay? And so you can see here, we are done with this. We have it marked what theme park it came from, in this case Disneyland. And it came from Fantasia gift shop. So we're going to repeat this with our next one. We're going to clean it. And what we're doing by wiping them off is we're just wiping any of the grease off from the pressing machines, because the machines actually put a small thin layer of grease on them, and that helps the machine kick out the coin so it doesn't get stuck on the die, because there's so much pressure on these that if it did not have that, they would just get stuck on there. And also it could possibly bend when it's getting kicked off from the kicker plate. And so that just helps things along. And if you notice, you won't really notice it much on the pennies, but on the quarters, you will definitely see a lot of grease on those in comparison. So same thing, I do about halfway up on each side, roughly. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because you're not going to see the top two when we're done anyway. And we'll do our next one. Now in the case of Disneyland coins, they're all what's called mules. That means they have a design on the front and a design on the back side. whereas other coins might only have them on one side. The bulk of coins are actually just single-sided. Okay, and so no matter the orientation of the design, I always place it with the bite mark or the gripper bar on the left-hand side. The only exception I do not do that with is if it's upside down. So you see here, this is a vertical design. We have the gripper bar right here. So you can see that that's what grabs the coin and pulls it through the die. So when they're mounted, it's going to stay like this in our book, and I'll show that to you in just a little bit. Okay, so there we have our penny machine done. And we'll do the same thing with our quarter machine. We've actually already started these here. So this is our quarter right here. And the quarters, you can see they are bigger, but they still will fit properly within the hole, the oval cutout. Okay. So let's do the last two here. And these are from Star Trader machine number 1. So we'll write here Star Trader. Number 1, this is also Disneyland. Okay. And we're going to clean this up just the same way. And so in these cases here, they also have a gripper as well. The gripper is right here. It's actually the first part that gets formed. You can see the gripper right there. Okay. And so this quarter here is fairly flat. It's got a little wave to it, as you can see there, but that's okay. You see the little wave there. We're going to leave that for now, and that's fine. If there is any severe bend to it, I usually straighten them out. And so with the quarters, they're a little more forgiving with touching them. I still try not to touch them too much, but they're a little more forgiving than the coppers. Now you'll notice what happened here on this one. I actually hit the quarter. I don't know if you guys can see that. See how that is sticking up right there? I actually hit the side of the quarter. So this has a handy little removal tool on the end of it. And I'm going to pop this off. And I'm going to redo it just a little bit farther out, so hopefully I can get this in here without hitting the quarter. And so let's see how this works. There we go. Doesn't look like it's barely in there, but it just works just fine, nice and flat.